We are here today. It is a new show, not a rerun. And ladies and gentlemen, Edward Snowden has declared victory. Against who and in what kind of contest? Well, those details are a little bit less clear, but we'll try to dig into it. Talking Points memo is reporting that Edward Snowden, the infamous former National Security Agency contractor who leaked a number of top secret documents about government surveillance and the phone surveillance program to journalists this spring, through Glenn Greenwald in part, has declared mission accomplished. He said, "For me, in terms of personal satisfaction, the mission's already accomplished." He said this to Barton Gellman, the Washington Post journalist to whom he leaked some of the documents he took. "I already won. As soon as the journalists were able to work, everything that I had been trying to do was validated." Because remember, I didn't want to change society. I wanted to give society a chance to determine if it should change itself. Now, this interview was conducted in Moscow. It's the first in-person interview since he arrived there. He has this 1-year temporary asylum. This is interesting to me, Lewis, because one of the key things that has been discussed with regard to Edward Snowden is what exactly was his motivation. Initially, we heard that the motivation was to expose these wrongdoings that were being done and not to evade justice. However, he is evading justice because he has been in the U.S., the U.S. government has charged him with espionage and theft of government property, and he is not facing those charges by having obtained asylum in Russia for a year, and prior to that, being in Hong Kong when the documents were initially leaked. So I am not saying that to be critical of him. I would also be trying to avoid sitting in a U.S. prison for the rest of my life or for a long time. But to say that the intentions were not to avoid justice, but simply to show the wrongdoing, well, factually speaking, that doesn't seem to be correct. What's your thought about this declaration of victory that he has issued?
Well, I guess it's completely subjective. I mean, I suppose in his mind, he might have done exactly what he set out to do and won. But I don't know. It seems like maybe a Pyrrhic victory if I were in his position.
I think that regardless of your thought about Edward Snowden, and I happen to not be on either extreme, I am not someone who thinks Edward Snowden is a traitor, and I am not someone who thinks Edward Snowden is a hero. Legally speaking, he is not a traitor. I think that he is someone who is in the middle. I think he probably is a somewhat paranoid libertarian type guy, and he did what he thought at the time was going to expose truly shocking information, while the reality is anybody who's been paying attention to the Patriot Act and other legislation over the last 10 years probably wasn't that surprised by what he revealed, although it did provide proof that it was going on. Another interesting bit of data from his interview, he said, "I'm not trying to bring down the NSA. I'm working to improve the NSA. I am still working for the NSA right now. They are the only ones who don't realize it." And this is the comment that I've received a handful of emails about, that some of our viewers say he seems to be maybe becoming a little bit delusional. What kind of a statement is that? I'm still working for the NSA. They just don't realize it.
Yeah, maybe he means he's improving the security of the NSA, or has improved the security of the NSA after what he did, making them stay on their toes a bit more. I don't know. It's a weird statement.